let's see. Let me change this. Now we're in chapter 6. Actually, well, we're in the final chapter, as you can see on the screen. Well, you can't see it right now, but you Waffles can't see it right now, that is. Give me 1 second,
Yeah.
though.
I could see on the stream.
That's true.
Man, you know what? I was also kind of thinking to myself, I'm like, Gourmet and Techie are the only ones that we haven't really had like a heart to heart or like really know much about them. I was
Yeah.
thinking that to
Well,
myself. I'm like, it was Gourmet and Techie.
the funny thing is, let me click on the thing. Hold on 1 second. Let's okay. So, yes, we are now in the final chapter. It's the beginning of the final chapter. So yeah, as you were saying, yeah, so Gourmet, you were saying Gourmet and Techie, we haven't really gotten to know much about. I will say,
I was honestly
um,
leaning more towards Techie. So I'm like, he
interesting.
is really smart.
I
So I'm like,
I That's
it
funny because
would
I've been probably most suspicious of Gourmet, just because I don't know, like they both have had their moments with Gourmet was with Rowdy and Techie was with Armor, but Techie also just feels like he's done a lot to help us
that
with all the tech
is
stuff.
true, but also I mean, I did kind of take that into consideration, but also I'm like, who would want to stand out the least as a villain? Would it be the person who's probably been very helpful, you know,
I guess, yeah.
to like
The
really gain as much trust from the group as possible, to really not be ousted immediately, or even like be on anyone's mind that he could be a villain.
yeah. The other thing to note is like I was mentioning during the investigation, we did miss a bunch of those like scenes in previous investigations. So it's possible that one or both of them have had scenes that we missed in the investigations,
Hmm.
those residual memory scenes. So yeah, I mean before the next time we record this, I actually want to go and figure out how to unlock those, and maybe we can like play through all of those. But obviously, I don't have time to do that right now.
Yeah.
But but yeah, so, but yeah, so I'm curious to see. Maybe it's possible, like maybe we'll see that Techie has one and Gourmet doesn't, and we'll be like, there it is. It's also
Hmm.
funny because the ones we have seen are Doleful and Posh, and those are the two people. Those are two of the people still alive right now. So I'm wondering now if it's like, are those residual memories are those just for the people who end up surviving to the end, and maybe besides Gourmet? We'll see. I'll have to go and figure that out and try to find those and get saves for that. Because
Hmm.
yeah, but anyway, final chapter.
Let's do it.
So yes, this is the line from last time. Those are the last words I hear before my consciousness fades to nothing. Ugh. I awake with my head in agony. Seems I keeled over and passed out on the sofa. My arm is still numb and asleep. With a start, I immediately recall what had happened just prior. Oh, right. Gourmet, why did you put us to sleep with that soup? Give me a chance to explain. Gourmet is seated on the sofa opposite me, wearing her usual gentle smile. The other detectives gradually come to, probably thanks to all my yelling.
But that's my tuna salad. Huh? Where's my sandwich?
A pain from the moment she awakens. Give me a break, the girl grumbled as she rubbed her groggy eyes. What? Did I fall asleep? Why does my chest feel all funny?
Isn't
Oh
this
no.
one of those collars that Renegade was wearing?
Oh no. Spot on, Doleful. Such a smart guess. You make your big sister so proud. Following suit, I inspect my own chest and find a device similar to Renegade's clamped onto me. Unlike the one Renegade had used on Posh, this particular device seems much harder to remove. I helped myself to renegade spoils and attach those collars to you while you were dozing away. Then I borrowed Incompetence D-pad and sent the command, so they'll detonate after 2 more entries. Why are you doing this? Don't tell me you're the quartering Duke.
I don't know what you're thinking, but even if you've collared us, it's pointless when you've no means of issuing the remaining commands. Incompetence the only authorized observer at present. We never recovered Ideal or her D-pad, and the electrocution shortened out Workaholics. Without the requisite commands, these collars are merely accessories, an empty threat.
Actually, you're wrong. It wasn't Ideal who issued a command to renegade, it was me. What? Well, that saves us a lot of investigation time. Thank you for that. I blurted out in spite of myself. It's true, we had just assumed Holmes was an observer, but never found any evidence proving that. To think Gourmet had been one all along. At that moment, the device on my chest beeps, as if to mock my revelation. Hear that? That was your caller receiving a new command. As you can see, I am indeed an observer authorized to issue them as I please. Just one more command and you'll all go boom. My heart stops and pulls that final trigger. It's curtains for everyone.
Why would you do something so...
Being an observer means you hold an executive position in the Alliance, like Workaholic did. Are you here on orders from HQ by any chance? From Alliance headquarters? Don't be Excellent guess, Techie. That's exactly right. Yep, same as Ideal and Workaholic. I'm involved with the DA's management. I'm more or less the coordinator of our anti-Duke conference here. My role was simple. I was to blend into the group, weed out anyone suspicious, and restrain them if needed. No killing involved, unlike Workaholic. But why were you a coordinator? Did you already suspect the Quartering Duke was one of us? Yep, exactly. Barring a few exceptions, each member here possesses special abilities, and would have been below age 10 at the time of the experiments. According to our past data, there was no doubt the Duke was among the group of detectives who were brought to this island. How can you be so confident that the Quartering Duke is part of the Alliance? The girl asked. Good question. It's because without fail, every location where the Duke's victims were found and had been previously investigated by the DA. Sorry, I need to... Wait, without fail, every location where the Duke's victims were found had been previously investigated by the DA. Oh, okay. What? Still, there were no commonalities between the members dispatched to those areas, leaving us with nothing that linked to the Duke directly. Why would you keep such an important fact to yourself the whole time? To avoid causing a commotion. Vague, inconclusive intel, it only leads to unnecessary chaos, right? If you learned without a doubt that the Duke was among us, all hell would break loose. During that first case with Senior, I was afraid that the Duke's presence in our group would be brought to light, but Ideal's follow-up came to the rescue. That's true enough. We'd already been jumping at our own shadows. Had we started pointing fingers, our teamwork would have crumbled. Which is exactly why Psycho suggested that the Duke could have still been lurking in the manor. I'm grasping the situation now, but what's the deal with these collars? Are you really going to obey HQ's orders and force us to wait here until a backup arrives? Don't worry, Incompetent. It's actually just the opposite. Come again? We are ignoring HQ's orders. We have one day until backup arrives, so let's root out that Quartering Duke. But if we fail, I'm taking you all down with me. I'm not letting the Quartering Duke off this island, even if it costs me my life. What do you mean by that? She intends to detonate these collars if it's the last thing she ever does, the girl said, glaring daggers at Gourmet Detective. I misjudged you before. What reason is there to resort to such drastic measures? It isn't as if we would run or hide. Why not explain the situation rather than threaten us outright? The girl questioned angrily. Sorry, Bookworm. I didn't feel that alone would cut it. You taught me something before, incompetent. Me? What was it? To never waver with my convictions. Ever since losing Rowdy, I've vowed to kill the Duke, no matter the cost. Gourmet cracked a smile even colder than ice. The lights left her eyes. As her mouth curls upward, she seems almost crazed. Truth is, Workaholic contacted me via D-pad on our first night in the underground research facility. He asked me to send a command to Renegade's caller. I complied at once. There was a decent chance Renegade was the Duke. Plus, he was ultimately responsible for Rowdy's death. Oh, and the reason Workaholic was in such a sorry state when he died is because I had to punish the one who actually committed the deed. Of course. She admits these horrific facts like it's nothing. She always seemed so serene. I'm shocked by the brutality lurking beneath the facade. Why are you going to such extremes? Rowdy, she wouldn't have wanted this. Yes, I know, but this is for my own satisfaction. He wasn't a candidate for being the Duke, but when she asked to come, I couldn't say no. I brought her to morgue, so now I've got to repent however I can. More than anything, though, I want to prevent another Dayless Night incident from occurring. Prevent another Dayless Night incident? That's right. Renegade did mention you were a victim of it yourself, but how is that related? Oh, so you knew. Yep, that's right. I still haven't been able to forget how tragic it all was. Due to the terrorist attack that day, I wound up pinned down under rubble for around half a month. I survived by eating dirt, rubber, iron, anything. Everyone else trapped with me had died, and even now my stomach still pangs with constant hunger. Never again. I won't accept another disaster like that, robbing people of their freedom to eat with relish. We can't allow tragedy to repeat itself. So under no circumstances am I letting the Duke off this island. Who cares what HQ has to say? I'm finding him and you're all going to help. Gourmet dons a deadly serious expression, and in spite of that, Posh approaches her meekly, as I wonder what she means to do. She slapped her? Posh forcefully smacks Gourmet across the face.
This is no time to be stating the obvious.
Posh? Yeah, I was supposed to read that.
We were already determined to risk our lives in pursuit of the Duke without your orders. Even going so far as to accessorize us so crudely. You busybody, you.
That's Posh for you. We had all been cowed by Gourmet's intimidating aura, but now we can't help ourselves from laughing. Posh is absolutely right. I said so too, didn't I? From the moment we received HQ's orders, I had no intention of following them. You've made your resolve crystal clear, Gourmet. Let's corner the Duke before our time runs out, by any means necessary.
I get where you're coming from, Gourmet, but these collars are dangerous. We don't even know for sure that the Duke is here.
You think it's someone else? Could another person still be on this island?
Possible. Not to mention someone we thought had died could still be alive, right?
Oh man, I've never seen that trick pulled off before.
This is the quartering Duke we're talking about. We shouldn't be surprised by any unexpected twists.
As Doleful Detective stated, your actions have been far too risky, the girl said with a sigh of exasperation. But I'm glad you've revealed your true nature. Something about you seemed off. Let's continue our search until the end, Gourmet Detective. You guys? I expected as much, but it seems we're all in agreement. I'll help too, Gourmet. I won't let you or anyone else die. In light of that, though, will you share whatever you can tell us about the Duke? You got it. Sorry for tricking you all. As I said, there's no doubt the Duke was among the detectives called to this meeting. Records from the secret police's experiments confirm this much. Title aside, their gender is unknown. No photos of them remain, and they likely had cosmetic surgery. Seeing as even Workaholic only recognized Renegade.
So essentially, you know absolutely nothing?
Now, it is worth noting that as I said earlier, and as it's been alluded to here and there were two detectives who did not show up to the island for this.
Yeah.
So
Because I
technically, it
forget
could
what
be
was the
one of
total
them.
number, but yeah.
Yeah, well, and I know one of them got mentioned more recently because it was the gentleman detective who was Techie's mentor. And Techie came in his place. But that also makes me think, because they said that they knew that all the Duke suspects were invited to the island, so that means that those two could possibly be part of it rather than Techie.
Yeah, but I feel like
I mean,
I feel like if one of them is a quartering Duke, I feel like that'd be kind of stupid. It should be someone from who we know.
No, I agree. Like structure wise, it should, but like technically the story leaves room for that. But you're right. It would be kind of dumb if they're like, by the way, this guy we never met. He was all along. It just it just seems like they've kind of set everyone up to be like pretty trustworthy at this point. So it's hard to imagine it would be one of them. But you know, we'll see. Easy now. That was probably the reason this meeting was called to order in the first place. Exactly. Exactly, incompetent. We have very few leads to go off. So to suffice it to say, I'm also on edge. I don't know why HQ ordered we stop, but I refused to sit idly by, even if it meant threatening you all. I had to keep this investigation going. And to do so, I put you all to sleep for possibly hours and put the whole thing on hold. If we're looking for clues, maybe we can start there, said the girl, pointing outside. What? Outside? I followed her pointer finger and finally come to a vital realization. That black SPX near the heliport is gone. Yes, we should be able to look around outside now, correct? Yeah, good looking out, Bookworm. We can always count on you. The girl chuckled, puffing out her chest with pride. It's still light out, so we shouldn't be caught off guard.
Yeah, I'm not sensing any threats at the moment either. We should be safe if we head out now. With how massive that SPX is, we should notice it first. But nevertheless, let's keep a close watch on our surroundings, shall we?
Where are we headed first?
Is it not obvious?
Bosch let that aside before continuing.
Our first priority is recovering Ideal's body. She's a lady. After all, leaving her exposed to the elements is unthinkable.
Dude, it's been there for like over a week.
Yeah, it's smells and decaying and... Why, pray tell, is your jaw agape?
No, it's just that you're not usually so thoughtful. It was a little shocking is all. You may be a fool, but you're surprisingly empathetic, though a fool regardless, said the girl, offering Posh her highest praise.
Beg pardon? Who's calling whom a fool, you fool?
It totally slipped my mind. Saika's been out there ever since she was dismembered. She's probably in a terrible state, considering that it's been over a week, but I still want to give her a proper burial. Not out of a professional obligation, but because she's my friend. Thanks, Posh. I'll lend a hand too. It'd make me happy if we could keep Ideal's body safe till backup arrives.
No trouble at all. We will fetch her at once. Now follow my lead, everyone.
With Posh at the forefront, we waste no time exiting the research facility. I made some good allies in the end, Saika. I'm sorry for being so reckless, but come what may, I swear to avenge you.
Interesting, I didn't expect it to turn out that way.
Yeah, so Gourmet's not actually, Gourmet isn't actually...
She's just very, very, very devoted to finding the quartering Duke.
Yeah. 22 hours remain until our collars detonate.
It's been far too long. The blue skies, the warmth of the sun, the cool summer breeze, caressing my skin. How wonderfully refreshing.
Boss, you might want to keep your voice down. Going outside excites her this much. She might as well be a dog, the girl quipped, sighing with disgust. Nevertheless, Posh takes the lead, laughing in high spirits as we walk out of the building. It's our first time outside in about a week. While Posh's behavior may seem over the top, I honestly feel like jumping for joy myself. I'm sure the others must feel the same. They've all got some much-needed color on their faces, compared to when we were in that facility.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sensing that black SPX. Maybe it's circling the manor like it was when we first got here.
Alright, then let's follow the mountain path up ahead and search for Holmes' body. Smells like it rained a bit ago. That must be why the ground has some give to it. My wheels just keep spinning in place. Would anyone mind giving me a push? Sure, no problem. Leave it to your big sis. Gourmet pushes Techie's chair happily as they continue onward together. Nice. I wondered what would become of our team, but it seems all the commotion with the callers earlier hasn't affected things too much. Even so, Gourmet is resolute. If backup arrives before we can finish our investigation, I think she's serious about detonating these callers. No matter what it takes, we need to find a clue to the Duke's true identity before that time arrives. We keep our eyes peeled as we head toward the mountain road, but to no avail. Before long, we arrive at the fateful path where we fought off the black SPX. 1 week ago, in this very spot, Psycho was...
Competent, you okay there?
Doleful supports me as I begin to stagger. Thanks, Doleful. I've been psyching myself up, but coming back here really hits hard.
Yeah, when I think about what happened that night, my chest feels like it's about to burst. It's already been over a week since Ideal was killed by that SPX, I mean.
Thinking back, yeah, all this turmoil really started with Psycho's sudden demise. And now, here we are 7 days later. Downtown's phantom killing, workaholic semi-sealed cell, renegade scheme in the maze, Paradox murders in the underground facility. That's 4 mysteries solved. Back then, we didn't know that Black Mech was an SPX sentry, nor did we know about the existence of the secret police. But things are different now. We should be able to solve the riddles we couldn't before. Let's find the truth and avenge our friends.
Yeah, let's. Incompetent, the strangest thing happened.
Bosch, who had gone off ahead, suddenly comes racing back with a fretful expression.
Found one appears to be traces of blood by Ideal's body. The target of our recovery mission is nowhere to be seen.
Holmes' body is gone?
Why? Her blood's still there, so how?
There's no scent of rot either. It was likely carried off either before or during the rain. The body didn't leave any trails when it was moved, so the blood was probably completely dry already, which means it must have happened after we belonged to the manor, for 3 days or more. Now, with the rain, it would have been 2 at most.
See, here's a twist. She's actually the quartering duke, and she just had you tripping on acid. That's why you
man,
see her.
that would be crazy. But by whom? For what purpose? Is there a chance that perhaps Ideal Detective's death was staged? Bookworm, who had been standing a fair distance back so as to avoid seeing the body, now comes striding toward me. Mysteries, it's not unheard of for the one killed in the prologue to be the mastermind all along, said the girl, slightly colored by bias.
Just one moment, Bookworm. You must have said such things so heedlessly.
As far as I'm aware, Ideal really was killed. The scent of blood is undeniable. I may have been a ways off, but I don't think I'm wrong. I'm with them. There is no question that Ideal got sliced all over. It's hard to imagine she could survive with wounds like those. Meanwhile, thinking to himself, I also spent the last week with her fucking ghost. So... Plus, we have Armor's word to go off. I witnessed the moment she died with my own eyes. Her death was too intense, too vivid to question. No way I saw it wrong. It wasn't faked. But one thing's for certain, the body's gone. Just who could have moved it, and to what end? We searched the area around the bloodstains, but nothing sticks out. Though I had already figured as much, it doesn't seem the body is anywhere nearby. Our investigation has already hit a snag. You've got 21 hours until the rescue team arrives. Let's hurry and find whoever carried off Ideal.
If there's a culprit besides us, killing us with these collars would be senseless. We'll lend you our aid regardless. So release us already.
Sorry, no can do. It's true that the Corning Duke may not be one of us, but if he is, I'd be letting him go from right under my nose. Unless we discover the Duke's true identity, none of us are leaving this place alive. That fact won't change no matter how much I adore you all. Why don't we just resume our investigation after leaving Mort? Sure, we're all suspects, but couldn't we just weed out the culprit among us? Would that it were so simple. Even after all we've been through, we haven't learned a thing about the Corning Duke case, have we? All we know is that Renegade killed Workaholic, then died himself. As it stands, it'll be assumed that Renegade was the Duke. Case closed.
Maybe that's for the best? Thinking back, Renegade was already the most likely candidate for being the Duke anyway. No one else seems suspicious, so I don't think there's much we could do about him getting pegged as the culprit.
True enough, he's definitely the most convincing option. He'd also be the easiest to present to the public, a former murderer masterminding a new incident. That's exactly my point. Things will end with Renegade branded as the Corning Duke, all without confirming the actual truth of the matter. What are you talking about? Wouldn't it be irresponsible to do that without verifying all the facts first?
No, I'm afraid it isn't unlikely. The scale of this incident makes it undesirable for officials to wave it off and admit they were baffled.
Yeah, but even if they do that, the killings aren't gonna stop. So it's just gonna keep going, and everyone knows that they were wrong. Everyone will just know they were wrong.
It's quite conceivable that they would settle for a passable, if remiss, conclusion, so as to save face as an organization and stem nationwide panic.
You're kidding me. What kind of detectives would do something like that?
It's what all detectives do, incompetent. You know about the Pinkertons, right? This line of work involves plenty that can't be discussed openly, so obscuring the truth isn't unheard of. Real-life detectives aren't like the characters you read about in novels or visual novels. They aren't putting on a show with brilliant statements. In fact,
What? They're just like me for real, though. Yesterday, I was shown a horrific vision of the Corning Duke's future victims. Oops. A half-baked explanation won't be enough to stop him. In fact, he could take advantage of the DA's misinformation to cause further havoc unchecked. Gourmet's concern is definitely warranted. In short, if we don't find a clue pertaining to the Duke's identity before help arrives, the true mastermind may get away scot-free, said the girl. These collars are our plan B to keep the Duke from leaving the island. You're willing to literally give your life to stop him, huh, Gourmet? You bet I am. Hate me for it if all you want. Try to outsmart or even kill me if you've got what it takes. It doesn't matter. I'm dragging you all down with me. I want to fight for the sake of the world, for the sake of everyone we've lost. We won't quit now. Not for anything. I swear, we'll uncover the truth of the quartering Duke, come hell or high water. And come they will. There are only 21 hours left for us to uncover the truth. We need to find the Duke by any means necessary. To do that, there's one place we should start. For now, let's figure out where Holmes's body disappeared to. The culprit didn't just vanish into thin air. They came here and took her elsewhere. So there must be some clue pointing to their current whereabouts. At my behest, the others begin searching our surroundings once more. Whoever took Holmes's body is beyond a doubt our prime candidate for being the Duke. I zero in my senses, doing my best to take in the entire scene, not just the bloodstains. And then... Armor? Huh? Where? Where is he? What? He's right next to you, Techie. Can't you see him? No, of course not. What? How could you say something so wholly unscientific? You're not gonna scare me, okay? Huh? No, really? Okay, so now I have a theory, I have a thought. So we're seeing armor now. And there's clearly, we have the spark. This is clearly a result of the denouement. Now, is it possible that all the time we spent with Holmes that wasn't her ghost or anything, but it was a result of the denouement, like creating her there, and that in actuality, she is still alive?
Interesting.
And that was basically, we created her, and we imagined her that whole time, subconsciously. It could be a thing. Could be a thing.
We were tripping. Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
We could just be on drugs the whole time. Maybe maybe this is it was a dream all along scenario, and we were just like, a druggie in the city or something. This game means nothing. Huh? No, really? I'll be getting back to my investigation. See you. Techie puffs his cheeks ever so slightly in apparent annoyance. Then returns to the area he'd been inspecting prior. But even though he should be dead, Armor is still there, unmoving and unresponsive. What in the world is going on here? Suddenly, Armor approaches the bloodstains left by Saika and lifts what I can only assume is her body off from the ground. Oh, no, you know what this is? Holmes was like, oh, the denouement doesn't just see the future, it perceives all. So maybe we're seeing like a vision of the past?
Or like it's something maybe he was investigating. Yeah, because if he doesn't respond, then could be.
Yeah, so maybe he lifted her body. What I'm seeing, could it be? Is this a vision of the past? I've only seen the future until now, so what am I supposed to make of this? No, wait. I've encountered residual thoughts at crime scenes before, and those gave me glimpses of the past. Maybe this is the same. What was it Saika said at the end? That the denouement doesn't predict the future, but rather sees all. She is said to reflect back on everything that's happened so far. Could this be what she meant? As I continue to focus my eyes, I notice something in the shadows of the tall grass. It's a footprint, which has now begun to dry. Judging by the size and shape, it's clearly Armor's. Maybe I saw it subconsciously and my mind visualized how things played out. It's just like Sherlock Holmes' specialty, abductive reasoning. By reading traces of the past, I can infer what took place. So Armor really did move Saika's body? How was he even here or alive in the first place? I have millions of questions, but mulling them over in my head won't get us anywhere. Got to tell the others about my discovery. Come here, guys. I found a footprint. This print, it doesn't seem like it's been here long. I wonder why there's only one. Maybe because the ground's still damp from the rain. It must have stopped when the culprit came to retrieve Ideal's body. Once they did, it picked up again, forcing them to seek shelter. As a result, their foot sank into the muddied ground here. Leaving a mark would have been practically unavoidable on damp soil, given that they were walking with the weight of two people. Shall we follow these tracks to their owner, then? The girl suggested. Do you have any guesses which way they went, Bookworm? Whoever made them, I mean. I thought you had already noticed. Considering the size of the print, it could only have been armor, said the girl, her tone somewhat snide. Oh, yeah, of course I did. That's book one for you. I tried to avoid bringing the fact up myself, but it was plain as day to her. If armor created his footprint, we could surmise that he accessed the area by riding the helipad up from the underground maze to the surface. So it stands to reason that our next area's investigation should be the heliport and maze in question, the girl stated simply. Armor, could he really be alive? I'm so happy to hear it, but the elephant in the room is, how and why come back to the surface to take Holmes' body? Gourmet asked what we'd all been wondering. If he managed to survive, the natural course of action would be to contact us and regroup. For what purpose is he acting so secretively? The only way to find out will be to ask him directly.
I wonder why Armor moved the body. We should hear from the man himself. Whatever the case, fretting it over right now won't get us anywhere. Come, let us head for the labyrinth via the heliport. We may be able to follow his trail or perhaps find a clue as to his destination.
We return once more to the heliport, following Pasha's orders. I make sure we're all clustered in the center of the circular landing pad. I stand in front of the control panel, initiating the necessary operations. First, I release the lock, then I just have to flip the switch to make it descend. It's so easy I can do it in my sleep. The panel's kind of a ways from the platform, though, meaning I've got to book it once I'm done, so everyone doesn't go down without me. A bit nerve-wracking, to say the least. Oh, wait a second, Covenant. It looks like the heliport's controls can actually be operated via D-pad. Seriously? Thank goodness. I wasn't feeling too sure about risking it. Not too long after, I see my D-pad notify me of external devices ready to connect, followed by what seems to be the heliport's name. Probably set to display when the lock is released. I hurry and connect my D-pad to the control panel. This sends the command to our callers and murders us all. Oh. I join the others on the landing pad, tap the screen of my device, and watch as the circular floor beneath us dips downward. The ride takes a little under 10 minutes. The helipad stops its descent, arriving in the underground hangar where we spent the night a few days prior.
What will we be investigating down in the labyrinth, Incompetent?
Typical, always playing chief, then leaving it to others when the going gets rough, the girl said, struck in reverent awe over Posh Detective.
Well, excuse me. Frankly, I haven't a clue what to do at this point. This is an order from your chief, Incompetent. Take over and lead the DA in my stead. Because I'm useless.
Yeah, it seems you've turned over a new leaf too, the girl said with a small, exasperated sigh. Thanks, Posh. I'll do my best to get our investigation off to a good start. I scan the area, deciding where to begin. Top priority is finding some clues as to Armor's current whereabouts, but there are still other questions to look into. For example, how did Armor survive in the first place? Why did he go to the surface and take Psycho's body away? Plus, there's one more thing that bugs me. What did that black SPX use to track us? Each model of SPX has unique sensors, which allow them to chase us relentlessly. Now that I think about it, the black SPX did behave similarly to the red one. A closer examination might reveal something to us. Just taking a quick glance, it doesn't seem like anything's changed since last time.
I found traces of what seems to be mud, both on the helipad and beyond it, so I think we can say for sure that he came down here. The footprints stopped after a while, though.
Would tracking the scent of the mud be viable, Gourmet? I tried, but sadly I couldn't pick up any traces. There's not a lot of it to begin with, so the odor was already pretty faint. Hold on, I'm smelling something unusual over that away. Huh. She points in the direction opposite to the research facility. The path leading to that horrific winding labyrinth. Something unusual? Yes, it smells kind of like my blender just shorted out. Not even a little appetizing. Well, yeah, it definitely isn't food. I start to feel uneasy. What could be awaiting us up ahead? That pit Armor fell into is nearby. Why don't we start our search there? As if retracing our earlier steps, we return to a familiar room, but no one could have predicted the sight we would encounter. What's that sound? Incompetent. It's him. The red SPX? Following the sound, I see the red SPX repeatedly ramming itself against the wall. Its exterior like crumpled aluminum. I can't believe it can still move after getting crushed by the helipad. It's heavily damaged and doesn't seem to notice us, so it's likely broken. Beep, boop, boop, bop, beep. Still going, even in that sorry state. What I feel isn't anger, but pity. My fate's been deeply intertwined with this machine, yet I'm moved as it soldiers on despite its damages. It's nothing short of admirable. Just like Psycho, this mech is only attempting to fulfill the role it was given. Hey Techie, is there a way to finish this SPX off? There is. If you use Shocky Walkie, the current should short out all its functions. Thanks, I just want to give it some peace.
Right then, incompetent, techie, bookworm, can I trust you three with its deactivation and subsequent inspection? While you're occupied with that, the rest of us will investigate the pit Armor fell into.
Roger that. We've got it covered. We watch the others exit the room, then begin our operation. The red SPX continues slamming itself against the wall. We approach it from the side, slow and careful. Regardless of the damages it sustained, it's still armed with weapons capable of piercing even Armor's suit. We need to exercise absolute caution. The SPX suddenly turns to face us. We're gonna die, I think for a moment, but it ignores us, heading to the corner of the room instead. There I see the charging station we had examined previously. Seems he's just filling up his batteries. Impressive that he can rely on a backup power supply until he reaches a charging station. If we don't do anything, it will only continue ramming the wall and recharging. A senseless, pitiable cycle, the girl said compassionately. Yeah, it is. Becky, when it comes back, could you shoot with Shocky Walkie? It's up to us now. Let's put it out of its misery. This doesn't feel right, but there's no other option. True to his word, Techie ejects Shocky Walkie spikes into the SPX, running at its circuitry with an electrical current. We make our way up close, but it gives no sign of aggression. I get mixed feelings seeing its once menacing presence vanish so abruptly. Is it safe to touch it? The girl asked, arm extended in trepidation. Yes, he's fine. I hit the exposed motherboard directly. He'd truly be a monster if he could still function after that. Talking about exposed motherboards as if I can understand any of that. Make your future comments more accessible, will you? The girl demanded. I essentially set its brain on fire. Does that make more sense? Seems a little violent when you put it that way. From an SPX's perspective, that's pretty much what it's like. And as a lover of science myself, it definitely makes my heart ache. Gingerly, I touched the remains of the red SPX. What had been functioning mere moments ago is now just a pile of steel. It sits there completely motionless. Saika, our lives were torn from each other by this machine, but now it's finally over. I've gotten my revenge in a sense, but even so, the heavy feeling in my chest won't leave me. Ultimately, all of us, Saika, myself, the SPXs, all tools to be used by the secret police. Bookworm, what got you thinking so hard? Well, that SPX's behavior reminded me of something, so I'm running it by my recollection, the girl explained. What? When it was banging against that wall? I don't follow, but Bookworm's memory isn't something to sneeze at. If she has a hunch, there can't be any mistaking it. I quietly give her some space, doing my best not to interrupt her train of thought. At that moment, the other three suddenly returned from inspecting the hole that Armor had fallen into. Hey guys, that was quick. Find any clues by the pit?
You can credit her speed to Gourmet fearlessly rappelling into the depths on a safety line. I didn't sense any danger, but still, I was practically shaking with fear.
I figured making a proper descent would take too much time. Considering I'm the one holding you all hostage, it's only fair that I take on a few additional risks. Even though those additional risks also risk everybody else. At any rate, no threats to report. The hole goes quite a ways down, though. There's even a hot spring at the bottom. Wait, a hot spring? The geothermal activity must be heating the water. It actually goes pretty deep, so you might survive if you fell into the spring. Huh, so that's how Armor made it out okay. That would also explain why he couldn't contact our D-pads. Falling to the water would have shorted his out.
Wait, but incompetent. We all saw him get stabbed in the chest, remember? It clearly hit a vital organ, so how could he possibly be alive after that?
Well... I have no idea. Like Dolville said, it definitely appeared that the blade pierced Armor's heart. Even if he survived the fall, he would have died from the blood loss. A mortal wound like that should have spelled the end for him. At any rate, there are 2 points for us to prioritize in our investigation right now. First is finding a clue to Armor's whereabouts after escaping that hole. He must have gone through this room on his way to the surface. Let's all take another look around and see if he might have left some sort of trace behind. Secondly, we need to figure out why the SPX was acting so repetitively. Its behavior followed too much of a pattern to just be a simple error. Remember, it's possible we're overlooking some key information. There's no detail too small as far as that mech is concerned. Now let's all give this labyrinth a thorough reinvestigation. And on that note, I think we're going to stop for tonight.
Alright, yeah, made some pretty good progress.